What's up, guys? I'm back. It's been a long time. You haven't seen a video from me in a decent stretch of time here. You haven't seen any F1 from me in the F124 game cycle, and that's what I'm here to rectify today. I've got some career mode. I'm just walking through the beginning here, just kind of showing you, the viewer, like what's going on here, and watching me set up my character. I'm gonna go with the Mercedes Driver Academy. I've always been a big fan of the way the Mercedes engine sounds. And so I kind of just figured that would be the approach that I would take here. But I'm going to show you kind of going through all of them as well. But just a little bit of spoiler, I choose Mercedes. So anyway, I'm not going to go through like all of the pre-career stuff that you can do in F124 because I'm assuming that most people have probably already watched some degree of that. And if you've watched any career mode videos at all, I think a lot of people show that kind of stuff, and I don't really feel the need to show you all of that again. But suffice to say, Mercedes Driver Academy, I'm racing for Williams, and you can see that I chose my teammate as Logan Sargent. And that's for two reasons, okay? I thought it would be cool, first of all, to have two American drivers on the team. So Logan Sargent is American. I'm American. Thought that would be cool. And second of all, it's a bit selfish, I will say, but I thought it would be nice to have a teammate with a lower rating. And Sargent has a lower rating than Albon does at the beginning of this career mode. So kind of felt to me like it would be a win-win there for me, and so that's what I went with. And that's what you're seeing. But again, just very abbreviated kind of format of going through some of this career mode sort of pre-race stuff, the experts, all that sort of thing. You can at least get sort of a taste of what it is just by watching this without me going into detail on everything that I'm doing. But we are going into Bahrain. I'm doing 16 races in this season, and I'm also doing a format that's a little shorter than what I've done in previous iterations of some of this career mode stuff. What I've most recently been doing in F123 was 100% races, just because I really like 100% races. I think there's a lot of strategy that comes with a long race like that. And I do have a good time, but also I want to be realistic, and it I want to experience all that the career mode has to offer, and I'm not going to be able to do that if I'm doing full 100% race distances, just from a pure time perspective, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to get through the whole career. And I'm not promising that I'll be able to get through the whole career here, but what I'm doing is full qualifying, just because I think that adds a little bit of intrigue. So I'm doing the full 3 sessions of qualifying. And then I'm doing 35% races. 35% races because it's long enough that I think you get some strategy intrigue, hopefully, but not so long that I can't get through races very quickly. So theoretically, I should be able to get through like probably 3 times as many races as I would with the 100%. I mean, the math is not perfect because I'm still doing a full qualifying, but with a single player full qualifying, you could just sort of jump to track. You can retire when the session's done. You can speed up time if you're waiting to go out. So it's not like you actually have to spend the full hour that it would take to do full qualifying if you were doing it with a full grid of players, and you weren't doing any sort of simulation since you're doing with AI. But we sort of sailed through Q1 there, and also this is pre-patch. This is pre-handling patch. So there have been some changes to the game, but and I've gotten better as well. I will say I don't have a perfect handle on this game yet. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still working on it. We've done a couple league races, one of which you may never see just because it wasn't the greatest, but also maybe it's a pretty good example of the areas in which I can improve. Another league race that I think was actually a pretty decent race, so there's probably a good chance that you'll see that. But I've gotten a couple gameplays sort of stacked up and stored here. I've got a couple career mode races, one of which, the one you're watching now, was before the handling patch. At least one more, maybe two, I can't remember, that were done after the handling patch. I frankly have just not gotten around to doing the commentary on this stuff. It's just been kind of busy otherwise in life, and I haven't gotten the chance, but carved out some time, did some editing, and now I'm doing some commentating, and you're seeing the way it goes. So that's just kind of another example of why I don't really want to keep doing the 100% races. As much as I enjoy them, as fun as they are, it's just sort of it can be a slog to edit those videos and those races too, just because they're so long. And sometimes it's easy if I know that it was a pretty straightforward race. If I know that, hey, my second stint, I didn't see another driver, I just stayed in line in formation, and I can kind of show you the really sped up version of it. Just put it at 20x speed or 8x speed or something, and just show you kind of how my timing changes relative to the cars around me. But if there's any sort of intrigue, if there's anything that happens, then you kind of have to make some decisions about how do I edit this video. And I would say that I generally not struggle with that concept of how do I edit this video, but it's a constant, you're constantly making choices, right? And I think especially with a race like this, every second of the race is not going to be constant nonstop action. So it's not like you can just show the whole race. I mean, you could, but frankly, as the viewer, I don't want to see a full race, especially if it's going to be a 2 hour race, like a 100% race. So I, as the editor, the video maker, have to sort of make decisions about how I want to cut what I'm showing you. And you see me outperform my teammate there, P5. We're on to Q3, so let's see what we can do there. And I think I don't even know that the AI was too easy. I mean, maybe it was a little too easy, but I just kind of was sailing through a little bit here, and honestly, I don't even remember what I did in Q3, but you're going to see it here. This is my last lap, and this will be what really dictates where we are. So P8 after my first lap, and that was on used softs, and we're using new softs here, but kind of looks like it's not gonna go great, but I don't know. Maybe we can see what we're gonna do. But yeah, I always kind of struggle with with the process of editing a long race, and sometimes there are just those races where it's really easy just because of the flow of the race and the way the race went for you. A lot of times my my league racing is a lot easier to edit because it's somewhat more eventful than the races with the AI, especially pre-handling patch. You may not know this, but at this point in the game's life cycle, in the F124 life cycle, and I don't even know when this was recorded, but it was pre-handling patch, and as part of that first significant handling patch, changes were made to the AI drivers' propensity to sort of just sit in a DRS train, or maybe it was the second handling patch. I don't know. The point is, it's been patched out, but at this point in the game, they couldn't get DNFs. They would never make mistakes, and you don't see a lot of mistakes from the AI in the F1 games. It just kind of doesn't happen in my experience, other than on really high AI levels, which are above the AI level I'm racing on. Like on 110 AI, you kind of see some people make some mistakes in videos that I've watched on YouTube or streams that I've watched on Twitch. We qualified P4 there, by the way. So that is absurd. In this Williams, it feels like we are way out of position, ahead of both McLarens, ahead of both Mercedes, ahead of one Ferrari. So this is pretty good, but honestly, it feels like we're so far out of position that I'm not expecting a ton from the race just because I don't see how I'm possibly going to hold this. And I think also the AI seems to get a little faster when it comes to race time than they were in qualifying in this game. So I think just naturally, it, I think you're going to see some drop back if you even if you qualify well when it comes to the race. You're just going to be pushed back some by the fact that the AI is a lot better in race trim than they are in qualifying trim. And until that's something that's changed by Codemasters, I think that's just the nature of what you're going to see. But that's where we are. We're P4 going into the race, and as I said, I'm not expecting a ton as far as mistakes that everybody's going to make in the race from the AI. So it's going to be a test of just trying to race clean, race as fast as possible. Maybe we can make some kind of alternate strategy situation or something work and see if we can kind of secure a result that's maybe better than the car we've been given by the team. And I'm not expecting a ton here, right? In this career mode, I'm in a Williams right now. I don't think there's any chance that I could win that I could win a championship in this car. I mean, it's possible if I put the AI at the wrong levels, but I've always tried to really put the AI at the correct level and the level that gives me sort of a decent challenge, right? And gives me the appropriate challenge for whatever car I'm in. And in this case, I'm somewhat of a midfielder, right? If I'm scoring points, then I think I'm doing great, honestly. And if I'm consistently scoring high points, then I think that's unbeatable. And I don't have the greatest hopes in the world that I can do that, but we're absolutely going to try our best. I'm starting on the mediums. Everybody's on the mediums or softs except for the V carbs in the back, Sonoda and Ricardo, who are both starting on the hards, which we'll see how that works out. You'll see the projected strategies here. We've got medium hard and medium hard. Tire wear is going to be significant in this game. That's just kind of the way that it is. Tires wear seemingly faster than they have in previous games, and it feels more important than ever to really concentrate on a driving style that retains your tire life. I have seen that on my own in league racing. I've seen that in these career mode videos. I think that tire wear is just going to be so important. I think especially with me not using ABS, I'm no assists, and you can lock up and cause even more wear on the tires. So it's gonna be so important. But the good news is we're on the start. I get an absolutely incredible start there. Going out into turn one, I'm behind Verstappen. I'm kind of behind Perez. Bang wheels a little bit there with Perez, but it looks like no damage, fortunately, even though we are on simulation damage. But it is very tight through here. It feels like I can't even drive. Verstappen's already 7 tenths ahead, and I don't know that he's going to slow down for us. I'm just trying to stay alive here. I had the start of dreams by being able to jump up into second place here, and I'm hopeful that I can just kind of stick behind Verstappen and maybe stay in DRS range and make some moves. But fast forward to lap two, I'm already out of DRS range. Went a bit deep there, had a bit of a moment, hit the back of Perez again, it looks like, but Perez gets past, Leclerc gets past, Hamilton gets past. We may be able to take that back, but we're not going to be able to do that. So that's unfortunate, but I did make a mistake. And like I said, I'm still struggling with the driving in this game. I'm still figuring out how to be the best that I can be. And you see me make a mistake there at the exact same corner and lose another place to Norris. So I'm just dropping like a rock at this point. But the good news is I kind of am in a better place just because I made those mistakes and I sort of know to look out for that there at that corner, and hopefully I can learn from that and not make the same mistake. I think every lap that I do in this game, I get a little bit more consistent. I get a little bit more confident. I understand the limitations of the driving better. When it comes to career specific, I understand the limitations of this car, of the Williams, better. And that positions me even better to just keep growing and keep improving. You see me get past Norris there pretty quickly. I was anxious to sort of rectify that mistake because I knew that if Norris stayed in front of me that we were going to lose Hamilton. Hamilton's on the soft tires, and those are kind of, you would think that those are kind of going to be pretty worn at this point, right? The soft tires in F124, 6 or 7 laps at Bahrain is starting to get to the point where, in my experience, they're a little bit too worn to drive on. And I felt like I had to stay within a second of Hamilton to be able to stay within his DRS range. And of course, Norris is going to hang around. He's 2 tenths behind me. But the important thing is that we collectively are staying within range of Hamilton, because Hamilton on the soft tires, in my view, is going to leapfrog us into the next category of these cars up here. Perez, Verstappen, Leclerc. Although Verstappen is miles away. If you look at the mini map in the bottom left, Verstappen is like, I don't know, 10 seconds ahead at this point. A cheeky little pass there on Lewis Hamilton. He gave me the room and I took it, and we're off to the races, I guess. But now it's going to be, fortunately, a situation of Perez and Leclerc battling in front of me, and ideally, I'm going to be able to capitalize on this and stay within DRS range of these guys and hopefully not get held up too much. But I get the pass on both of them there, but unfortunately go a little bit deep, and Leclerc gets by me. But Hamilton actually passed Perez as well, so both of those guys are now behind me. Leclerc's in front of me. Verstappen's 9 seconds ahead. I think we can give up on a win. We're not gonna catch Verstappen at this point unless he makes a mistake. And as discussed previously in this video, the AI is not really making any mistakes at this point in the game's life cycle. So into the pits, we are gonna make a change to the hard tire. Hopefully, gonna do the one stop here. Although the game kind of suggested that maybe the two stop would work as well, but we're going to try the one stop and see what we can do. Because I think if, with this car not being as fast as others, I think if we went for the two stop, we would just be hamstringing ourselves and just throwing away any chance of points that we could get. But we're up to P14, and as other cars pit, I'm all the way up to P5 here. You still see Tsunoda in front of me on the hards, and I believe that Ricardo's in front of me on the hards as well. So we're kind of a net P3, if I'm not mistaken. And if we can get past Leclerc, we're going to be a net P2. So we do get by him there, but the AI is very fast and can catch you with DRS and ERS. So I'm not too optimistic that we're going to stay in front there, but nonetheless, I think that as long as I can keep it clean from this point forward, I think that we're on for at least a podium. And if there was some sort of safety car or mistake or something, maybe we could do even better than that. So we're absolutely going to try. We're going to see what we can do. Fast forward a little bit there. Ricardo and Tsunoda both pitted, and it's just going to be a case of trying to stay with Leclerc throughout the stint and see if maybe I can make something happen there to get into the number 2 spot. So lap 16 here. I'm within DRS range. I'm gonna make. I think I make a bit of a lunge here. Yes, I do. Locked up a bit. Went a little bit deep, and just able to keep the lead and maybe get DRS here again. I'm not sure. No, I didn't get DRS, but I am going to stay pretty close to the clerk here. And Perez, you can see, is over 5 seconds behind. Russell's over 5 seconds behind. So it feels like we're pretty safe from anybody coming behind. The little double move on Charles Leclerc there. I'm able to get by pretty easily with a little battery usage and DRS as well. And then I believe I'm going to absolutely just crush the battery trying to stay ahead down this straight. And yeah, you can see there, just hit the battery as hard as I could. The clerk almost catches up, but not quite. So it looks like we've made the pass. The question now is, can I hold it for the rest of the race? I've got the purple first sector. Again, Perez is not an issue at this point. Russell's not an issue at this point. I'm not an issue to Verstappen at this point. It feels like, barring any mistakes, it's a race between Skywalker and Leclerc for P2 and P3. So, I mean, we've way outshot what the car conceivably would have been able to do here. This is better than I could have ever expected. Of course, I could DNF or something. I could get an engine failure still at this point. Let's hope that I don't, but it could always happen, and then I would regret saying that I did better than the car had allowed me. But Leclerc here, you can see he's within a tenth, and he's like he's bump drafting me, it looks like, instead of just going around me, and it seems like he never goes around me. So that was weird AI behavior there. I guess it kind of worked out because it looked like he was making contact with the rear of my car, but wasn't able to pass me. And it looks like he is going to pass me going down into this DRS straight. But I kind of kept it outside and somehow was able to stay ahead. I think it was maybe just very docile driving by the clerk, by the AI there. And hopefully I'll be able to keep it. But you see us fast forward a bit here onto lap 20, and the clerk is right there behind me. He's very close, but also I think this has been fixed as well. But at this point in the game's life cycle, the AI on the last lap had like no battery whatsoever. It seems like they just absolutely dumped battery on the penultimate lap and had no battery on the last lap. So across the line, securing P2, which is wildly unexpected, I think, in this car. And I'm guessing it's a lot better than Logan Sargent did. We'll see here in a second on the final sheet. But for the first race of my young career, of this version of me's young career, I think that this is like better than I could have possibly imagined. So really good outcome here. Really good race. I don't think that we're going to be able to do this every single race. I think maybe the answer is I moved the AI up a little bit because, frankly, I probably shouldn't be getting P2 in this car in the first race of the season. Maybe we can build to that later in the career, but it seems unlikely that we'd be doing that in our first race. So 16 seconds back of Verstappen. I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to compete with him for the championship, but maybe we can at least beat our teammate and get a good seat for next year Sargent in 17th after starting 12th. So could be better for him. Could be better for the team. But I'm second in the driver's standings. Constructor standings, we are in third, and that is fully on me, not my teammate. And you can see there that I'm kind of beating him. So, we'll see where this goes. We got Jeddah next week. We're going to develop the car, of course. I'm going to get better at the game. And I already know what happens in Jeddah, but I'm not going to ruin it for you because I want you to come back for the next video whenever I upload it. So, thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, we'll be back. We'll be back with more. I'm going to be back with league racing. I'm going to be back with some ACC GT3 racing that I've been doing. And lots to come. Hopefully I can get back on a more regular schedule. Thanks for watching.